Joining me now is Jeh Johnson, the Homeland Security Secretary under President Obama. Secretary Johnson, I know you just heard what Ambassador Bolton said. What concerns do you have about the purge at the Pentagon, Department of Homeland Security, NSA, and how does the incoming Biden team need to address that?
I'm greatly concerned, Martha, and thanks for having me on. The Pentagon is typically an island of stability in our U.S. government. To see the Secretary of Defense fired just weeks before he would have left office anyway is greatly concerning. I'm quite sure it's concerning to our military leadership. We can all speculate about the reasons for it. If it's got something to do with Afghanistan, the president needs to recognize that battlefield reality doesn't often comport with a political calendar. If he wants troops out of Afghanistan, as I know most Americans do, we have to do it in a way that makes sense, in an orderly manner, and that comports with battlefield reality. And, you know, Donald Trump, the deal maker, should also appreciate that in trying to strike a deal, you don't unilaterally surrender your greatest point of leverage by unilaterally withdrawing troops before the Afghan government and the Taliban have struck a deal. So this is very concerning. And if I were in the Biden transition team right now, I'd be very focused as priority A on restoring stability in our national security.
And how crucial is this period of presidential transition? Biden has said for example, it's not critical for him to have access to classified intelligence right now because there's nothing he can act on. What's your opinion on that?
Martha, a new government cannot start on January 20 from a standing still position. This is what transitions are for. Intelligence briefings, PDBs, when you're in office in national security, are your eyes and ears. And respectfully, the media, what we read in newspapers and the like, is simply so that we understand how the media is covering what we know to be reality. Intelligence briefings are your eyes and ears. And President Trump himself should appreciate that. During the transition 4 years ago, I personally visited Trump Tower to tell him things before he became president that I thought he ought to hear directly from the Secretary of Homeland Security, and I know he appreciated it. So it's a disservice to the American public. It's a disservice to our national security to make the incoming government wait until January 20 to actually begin to get up to speed on a myriad of issues.
Let's talk about the division in the country. You heard those voters as well. You were Homeland Security Secretary. How should Biden's Homeland Security team address these kinds of bitter division? I want to give you one more factoid here. In the first year of Barack Obama's term, the number of anti-government patriot groups more than tripled, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. So what do you do about these divisions, and what do you do about these groups?
Martha, this is going to be a top priority for a Biden administration. Our nation is divided right now, and there are over 70 million people bitterly disappointed in the election result. This is going to be a time for healing. When I was in office as Secretary of Homeland Security, I made a point of talking to all groups. I made a point of visiting, for example, Arizona ranchers on our southern border who were upset about border security so that they would understand all the things that the Department of Homeland Security was doing on their behalf. It's the instinct of Joe Biden, I know, from a number of years in public office, to try to bridge the divide, to try to heal the rift that exists in our nation right now. And I'm quite sure that he will make that a priority, and I hope that he puts in place people in the Department of Homeland Security who will do the same thing and follow that lead.
Well, let's talk about putting people in place. As you well know, it's been widely reported that you are a candidate on the short list for the Biden administration, possibly Secretary of Defense. I know you don't want to lobby for the job, but what do you think you would bring to that job, and would you accept it if offered?
Well, Martha, I've been in public service 4 separate times now. I'm in private life. I'm enjoying private life. If asked to take on certain positions in government, I'd certainly seriously consider it. I've been appointed to Senate confirmed positions 3 times in national security. And as a patriotic American, I'd have to seriously consider anything. But I've had a range of experience in national security, and if I don't serve in a Biden administration, I'd of course be pleased to advise whoever is serving.
Okay, and thank you very much for your comments this morning, Secretary Johnson. Good luck to you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.